Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In the previous video, we created our first pod using a YAML file and kubectl. We saw that Kubernetes created the pod, ran the container and managed it for us. In this video, we will take the next step. We will briefly recap how Kubernetes works with definitions and then we will introduce deployments, which is how applications are typically run in Kubernetes. Let's get started. Before we move forward, let's recall one key idea. A YAML file is not a script. When we apply a YAML file, we are not telling Kubernetes how to do something. We are telling Kubernetes what we want. Kubernetes stores this as the desired state. Keep this idea in mind. Deployments are built on the same concept. Why pods alone are not enough? Let's check this. So far, we have been creating pods directly. That's fine for learning. But in real applications, we almost never manage pods directly. Why? Because real applications usually need more than one copy running and automatic recovery if something fails and easy updates. Managing individual pods would be hard. This is where deployments come in. What is a deployment? A deployment is a Kubernetes object that manages pods for us. Instead of saying create one pod, a deployment says I want this many identical pods running at all times. For example, I want 2 pods running this application. From that point on, Kubernetes takes care of everything. So, pods run containers, deployments manage pods. Deployments make sure the required number of pods is always running. This is why deployments are used in real systems. In this video, we will create a deployment using YAML and see Kubernetes create multiple pods automatically. Then we will observe how Kubernetes keeps them running. We will keep everything simple. Let's switch to Visual Studio Code. This file is a deployment definition. The most important part here is replicas. It tells Kubernetes I want 2 identical pods running. Don't worry about the rest for now. We will break it down in future videos. Let's apply deployment. Before we apply the deployment, let's look at the current state. Deployments none, pods none, and no containers. Right now, I don't see any deployments, I don't see any pods, and I don't see any application containers running. This is expected. Kubernetes is running, but it hasn't been asked to run anything yet. Kubernetes does nothing by default. It waits for us to describe what we want. So, now let's apply the deployment definition. For that, we need to use the command kubectl apply. Let's try that. Kubectl apply -f and the file name is deployment.yaml. my first deployment created. So Kubernetes stores it as the desired state and starts working to match it. Let's check the deployments. For that, we need to use the command kubectl get deployments. It shows ready 2 by 2. That means number of replicas are 2, available 2. So Kubernetes wants 2 pods and 2 pods are running. Let's verify pods. For that, we need to use the command kubectl get pods. We see 2 pods in running status. Notice something important. We created one deployment, but Kubernetes created 2 pods. That's the deployment doing its job. Now let's check Docker Desktop and see what Kubernetes actually created. I applied a deployment, not a pod directly. So Kubernetes decided how many pods to create. Here I can see 2 pods running. That's because replicas is set to 2. Deployments, my first deployment status is available. Let's check containers. Each pod contains one container in our example. So 2 pods means 2 containers. Let's switch to Visual Studio Code again. Now I am going to delete one pod directly using kubectl. Let's try that. Kubectl delete. We need to pass the pod name. Delete pod and then this is the pod name. Let's try that. See, pod, my first deployment, deleted from default namespace. So the pod is deleted. Let's check the pods again. Kubectl get pods. Now notice what happens. A new pod appears immediately. Kubernetes created a new pod automatically. I deleted the pod manually, but the deployment still says I want 2 pods running. Kubernetes detected the mismatch and created a new pod. This is Kubernetes enforcing the desired state. Deleting a pod does not stop the application as long as it is managed by a deployment. Let's switch to Docker Desktop again. Let me go to containers. This container was created by Kubernetes. I am going to manually delete one container from Docker Desktop. Let's try that. Notice what just happened. The container disappeared but a new one appeared immediately. That's because this container belonged to a pod managed by a deployment. Kubernetes noticed the pod failed and created a new pod automatically. This is Kubernetes enforcing the desired state. I didn't really delete just a container. I broke a pod and Kubernetes created a new pod. If Kubernetes created it, Kubernetes controls it. Let's go to the Visual Studio again. Let me clear the screen. Let's do the cleanup operation. For that, kubectl delete -f. We need to pass the file name deployment.yaml. So my first deployment deleted from default namespace. This command deletes the deployment itself. When the deployment is removed, Kubernetes no longer tries to keep pods running. Let's verify that. kubectl get deployments. No resources found in default namespace. Let's check pods. The pods are also gone. That's because the deployment was managing them. When you delete a deployment, Kubernetes deletes all the pods it created. This is the correct way to clean up applications. Let's check the Docker desktop again. No deployments, no pods, and no containers. So to recap, pods run containers, deployments manage pods, and deployments ensure the desired number of pods is always running. This is why deployments are used instead of creating pods directly. In the next video, we will introduce services. We will see how applications running in pods can be accessed by other pods and by users. Please note that captions are auto-generated but mostly accurate. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.